I want to talk about CJ Stroud. Again, as the Texans blow out the Steelers 30-6. Got to give CJ Stroud his flowers, give him his praise. But I already knew this about CJ Stroud, really. Like, CJ Stroud was my QB1 coming into this draft for a reason. Thought he was better than Bryce Young. I understand Bryce was at Alabama, Heisman winner, played in a big national championship game. But the way CJ Stroud played against Georgia really changed my perspective on him. And I thought he was going to be a little more mobile than he is, or as he's playing now, which he's starting to get comfortable and bring that out. But CJ's build, his accuracy, the leadership, the way he saw the game. Did you know that CJ Stroud every evening has a private chef make him and his teammates dinner, and they all sit around? Tank Dell and John Mechie, I want to say, are frequent visitors to that. That's amazing. I mean, what, and again, media leaks for certain people, but what rookie quarterback is doing that within an organization like the Houston Texans to really build that camaraderie and actually, bring these guys in? Couple of numbers here from CJ. He's got 1,212 or a little over, 1,200 passing yards on the season, 6 touchdowns, no interceptions, taking perfect care of the football. So by default, he's in the NFL lead for the least amount of interceptions. He's on pace for 5,100 yards. He's throwing 303 yards a game. And again, just showing why he was the QB1 in this past draft. I love what CJ Stroud brings to the table. And you can tell dude's getting comfortable now. He's starting to sit back in the pocket a little better. Credit to Houston's O-line, the way that they were able to play in this game. Because realistically, CJ Stroud right now is doing this behind an injured, battered O-line that had 3 backup linemen playing against that Steelers defense. And the Houston Texans O-line is dead middle in the league, giving up, I don't know how many sacks per game, but I remember looking at the numbers. They were 16th in sacks per game. Or excuse me, total sacks given up on the year. And the fact that they've dealt with some injuries on this offensive line, like, to know that CJ Stroud, an Ohio State quarterback that is finally breaking the odds and the standard of Ohio State in front of us, absolutely love to see it. He's using his feet, mistake-free football, very accurate. Now, his completion percentage could be higher. He's sitting at 62% right now. But again, he stands very tall in the pocket. He's getting into a stride now at the position, and you can absolutely see it. He's starting to use his legs a little more. Again, get a little more mobile. He sees the field very well. The Texans got a stud in CJ Stroud. And I knew that the moment that they took him second overall and then turned around, wowed everybody, and took Will Anderson. Like, my Saints have to play this Texans team in a couple of weeks. And I don't know how I feel about it, because CJ Stroud is damn good right now. 4th in the league in passing yards, 11th in the league in touchdowns. By default, the first in the league, or I guess tied for the first in the league, whoever else doesn't have an interception currently. In the last 3 games, he has 2 touchdowns each for a total of 6. First game of his career, plays against the Ravens. Fully healthy Ravens. It feels like that's the only time they're ever fully healthy is week 1. No touchdowns, also no interceptions. Has an okay game, for his first outing. I was pleased by it. And you got to give credit to DeMeco Ryans, right? He straight up out coaches Mike Tomlin in this football game in absolutely all phases. And again, CJ Stroud just insanely comfortable behind an O-line against that Steelers defense, a Highsmith, a Watt, the linebacking core, knowing the type of play calling that comes from that front 7 with 3 backup offensive linemen for the Houston Texans. And you got to give credit to really what the Texans have done building around CJ Stroud. Nico Collins, Robert Woods, Tank Dell, John Mechie, Dalton Schultz, Dameon Pierce did a damn good job building around him. He doesn't have, firepower. Tank Dell, very solid, very young cat. John Mechie, we saw what he did in Alabama. If he arguably plays in that national championship against Georgia, probably having a different conversation. We remember that. Dalton Schultz, who is a good tight end, I think he'll get, or hope, he gets better usage, because we know a quarterback is a completely different animal when they do have a safety blanket. I'm just very happy to see CJ Stroud play like this. I knew this was the type of quarterback he realistically was coming into the year. And really, he showed this in college. Yes, he did have his moments of possibly staring down receivers or not understanding the play, this, that, and whatever the scouts might have said possibly as he was coming into the league out of the draft. But I knew what I saw on tape from CJ Stroud, and he is very clean, very crisp, pretty polished game so far to be a quarter of the way through the season. He's completed his first September and hasn't thrown an interception. Now, I understand more of the schedule has to play out. He has to see my Saints defense. He's going to have to see some other teams this year. Still got the Colts again, still going to play the Jags again, although I know you just wiped them by 20. Jags are still finding themselves, of course. But I am loving what I'm seeing from CJ Stroud. Absolute praise for him. Clearly, the Steelers have some issues to clean up, but I'm very happy with what CJ Stroud is showing me. And I hope as the year goes on, he really keeps his pace. I don't think he's going to have a 5,100 yard, no interception season, obviously. But if CJ Stroud comes out here and has a Justin Herbert-esque type of year, are any of us shocked? Capable of putting up that Justin Herbert rookie type of year.